You know, it's a great church. And so I got to thinking, Lord, I'm by myself. I'm 50-some years old. You know I don't do good by myself, so I really ought to be married. So, you know, if I had one more shot at it. And I said, now this is my prayer. I'm letting you all inside my head here. I said, you know, if I can get married, needless to say, it's got to be a Christian lady. But, you know, you said we're supposed to pray for everything. So here's the thing. How about a blonde with blue eyes? A little blonde blue eyes. I actually said that in a prayer. Lo and behold, after hanging around Prestonwood, I run into Angie. And the rest of the story is we got married. So that's a big prayer answer for me. If I was worrying about being believing, I was believing for sure now. Okay? So now I've come out of my wilderness journey, and I'm really doing great. And we're trying to find a church, and I got involved with the men's group at IBC, and they wanted me to give my testimony, and I did at that time, at that part of it. And then all of a sudden, one day after church, we come home, and Angie falls down a flight of stairs at home, and we're in Parkland Hospital, and she has part of her brain removed up here, and almost dies. In fact, they said she should die. And I said, no, she's not going to die, because I know the Lord gave it to me. And I know that ain't going to happen. He said, well, if she probably won't speak, if she does live, she probably won't be able to speak, may not be able to see, probably won't be able to walk. And I said, yeah. I just don't believe that. But I said, you guys did the best you could. We're going to pray about it. So a couple of guys that's out there called the Bread of Life team, who I didn't know about, came up and prayed with me there. And boy, they could really pray. So anyway, long story short, Angie didn't die. Angie got better. We stayed in the hospital together for a year. I was able to take off work for a year. The Lord took care of everything for us. People kept coming to me saying, how do you do this? Right there. I got to read the Bible through quite a bit. I have studied 5 different versions, the NIV, the New King James, the King James, the American Standard. I've read all those cover to cover. And my litmus test for that, this is kind of a sidebar, is the 23rd Psalm. When you read the 23rd Psalm, it only sounds good in the King James. I'm sorry. So that's my litmus test right there. They're all good. Pick out one you want. Just read them. Okay, that's the key. Just study it and pray over it and let God speak to your heart. So anyway, we've been in rehab, and we've been trying to get better ever since. And I'm the postmaster at Bowie, Texas, and I was driving back and forth, and I do a Bible study with Chuck Messler in there every morning for about an hour one way and an hour coming back. So I knew the Lord had me where He wanted me, because I'm learning more about Him. And so then all of a sudden, here just recently, I get a phone call, and I'm close to retirement. In fact, I could retire, but I wanted to work a little bit more. And because of our economic times, and we still have a few medical bills that come up. So a friend of mine called me. He says, hey, Joe. He's the postmaster at Denton, Texas. He said, guess what? And I said, what's that? And he says, I'm your new boss. And I said, oh, no. I don't want to work that hard. You know, it's a friend of mine. I'd have to help him. And I'm just doing my thing up here. And I said, oh, no. And he said, well, wait a minute. He said, I got a favor to ask. And I said, oh, no. That's even getting worse. And so he said, I want you to run Grapevine, Texas for me. And I said, man, that's the worst one I've done. I hope none of you's from Grapevine. And he said, no. He said, they've cleaned it up. He said, you actually have 5 supervisors there now. And he said, but it's okay. He said, trust me. He said, you'll do good there. I said, okay, say no more. I knew what was going on. I knew the Lord was involved in this deal, because I hadn't thought about this. He'd put me about 13 minutes from the house. I could go in early and take off for lunch, come home for lunch, and go back. And it turns out there's a lot of good Christians there. They just needed some leadership in there, and we're turning that thing around. It's turned out to be pretty good. But all of a sudden, a week ago, 2 weeks ago this Tuesday, Angie has a seizure. So because I was close by, I was able to be there and get her to the hospital. We spent another 5 days at Parkland. And we're doing okay. We've got a few vision problems. But anyway, That's kind of how the Lord's working in my life. I just say, okay, I don't really try to plan a whole lot. It's kind of funny. I'll say I have a plan, and then I just laugh. Because I know he's going to say yay or nay, And so it's easier for me to sit here and wait and just see. And, you keep working, you keep going forward. But the changes, you can see where the Lord's working. When I turn around and look behind me, oh boy, can I see where the Lord's been. And that's an awesome thing. It's an awesome thing. I think that was one of the reasons why I have such a close relationship with the Lord, is because of the fact that I was a late bloomer, and that he wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay since I was a late bloomer, and he also knows I'm kind of slow, and that I catch on kind of slow. So he put me with Angie, because her daddy's a Baptist preacher, been still preaching for 56 years out in California. She's got 2 sisters. Both of them are married to Baptist preachers. Got 3 boys, and all 3 of them in the ministry. I'm the only outlaw in the family. So anyway, I know he's watching over and taking care of us in these regards, and we just trust in him. And even though we do have hard times, we know the Lord's in charge. And guess what? One day, not too far off, we're going to have these new bodies running. Angie's going to have them. I'm going to have hair. Me and Charlie's going to have hair over here. Okay? So we know we're going to have these new bodies. I just hope it's that we're the rule and you all are the exceptions, and we're all bald up there. So, but anyway, but now that's kind of a snapshot of where I've been and what I've done. But let's take a little closer look at this thing. What is being born again? Think about that a minute. How does that happen? That's what it's all about right there. Is being able to understand God's process. Some people like me got saved and didn't know they were being saved. They knew something was going on. But that happened. It wasn't me. It was God that did that. You see, it's like a gift. We gave a gift to a lady yesterday, and we were sitting at the table at Chick-fil-A, and Angie gave her this gift, and I said, and that the lady's a pretty good, solid Christian. She went to college together. Gave her this gift, and she reached out to get it, and I said, that's it right there. She says, what's that? And I said, this is the saving gift of God right here. This is the faith that God gives you, that gives you that faith. He gives you that faith, that you believe in Him, that His Son, which is the gospel, died on that cross with all our sins, was buried for 3 days, and rose again from the dead, and sits in the right hand of God the Father. That's the gospel. Believe in that with all your heart, and you will live in eternity with God. That's how simple that is. We haven't done anything. He did it all. But when Angie handed her that gift and she took it, that's when it was received. That's when it became a gift. Otherwise, it was just a box. But when she actually reached out and grabbed it, that was the gift. And that's what we have to do. The gift is here waiting on every one of us. We just simply reach out when you understand what's going on. You reach out and grab that gift, and that's it. That quick. Now, born again. Think about this. Now, God has done some things to make it simple for us. Now, this is some scriptures I want you all to look at or be aware of that backs all this up. Now, I've got most of them written down, but I would urge each one of you, as you have time, there's a bunch of them there, but just pray over it and read 1 or 2 a day and just say, God, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? And let God speak to you on these scriptures. And I think that it'll if you're already saved, fantastic. It'll help you understand where you're at. It'll give you encouragement. And most of all, it'll help you be able to share with others. But this... 1 Timothy 1, first chapter, 15, 16. God talks about a pattern. And in Hosea 12:10, God talks about similitudes. He has given us similitudes or similarities, which is images and likenesses. And that's mentioned all throughout the Bible.